Okay, so welcome to my channel. This is a part one of several 1950s videos that will come out. So this is a return to traditionalism. So enjoy the video. With the war ending in 1945, the world bore witness to the aftermath of World War II. This war took more lives than the first, and left one country divided between two different political parties, and another country devastated and destroyed by America's nuclear monopoly. If you're a little confused on World War II, it's understandable if you haven't learned it yet, so I'm going to give you a quick little, lesson on the war. So basically you had Germany, and France was taken by Germany, and you had England, Russia, or Soviet Union, and America, who all did not like Germany. So they all declared war on Germany, and Germany did back. And basically, they all fought Germany, who was the bad guy, and eventually, the war came to an end. There. Also, keep in mind, I'm not an animator, so there is no actual way that this will look good, so I am using Screen Record and Procreate, which is a drawing app, to do this. So, let's get that through everyone's head. I'm not an animator, never will be. Okay? Okay. After World War II, two countries that were both allies with each other began to hold tensions against each other. The Soviet Union and America had two different governments that had completely different ideologies, and they began to hold tensions against each other. When the Soviet Union created a nuclear bomb, America knew that they weren't the only ones who had it, and that began to cause fear in America, as any day a nuclear attack could come, or a government takeover could happen as well. After the war, the Allies acquired German territory, and with these territories the Soviet Union had, America tried to get them to let them have a free and fair government, kind of like democracy. Stalin decided to go against it and give them a communist government reform. With this, America feared a communist takeover of the world, and their government as well. I need a computer, so I went back to the 21st century because the computer was not invented until 1976, and even though I could have just did teleport back then, it's not good. So back in 2020. Okay, so as I'm going back and watching this video and editing it and stuff, I realized that none of the things actually happening right now are in that video montage thing, but basically it's supposed to capture the mood of 2020, and the mood of 2020 is, what the fuck is happening? Because I really don't know what's happening. Anyway, so yeah, that's what that is. Just if you're a little confused or wondering why I put those weird photos in there, it's to capture mood. And also that last photo of me is just because I wanted to do something that looked like I was going insane, and I was. So yeah. Anyway, back to the video. Me? Yeah, pretty good, right? Anyway, so if you think the current state of our government is horrifying, well, you've never been to the 50s. Okay, so what is the Second Red Scare? It was basically the fear of a communist takeover of America's democratic government. It was the fear that the Soviet Union, which was communist, would take over America's capitalist government. It was also the fear of World War III or a nuclear war. The Soviet Union was a communist nation that was represented by the hammer and sickle, much like how the Nazis were represented by the swastika, which was once a peaceful symbol. The same symbol was recognized with the Holocaust, where 6 million Jews were sent to concentration camps, put to work, and in the end, killed for their beliefs. Fat Man and Little Boy were used in the Second World War and would be the only atomic bombs used in war. McCarthy was one of the reasons why this Red Scare took off in America. Another was the Manhattan Project, which was the project that created the atomic bomb. In the 50s, the atomic bomb was feared. Nuclear outbreak could have happened at any moment. This trailed all the way to schools, where children had to protect themselves and learn what to do when it came.
Dum, beetle dum dum, beetle dum dum, beetle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
First, you have to know what happens when an atomic bomb explodes. You will know when it comes. We hope it never comes, but we must get ready. It looks something like this. There is a bright flash, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you've ever seen. It could hurt you in different ways. It could knock you down hard or throw you against a tree or a wall. But no matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Tony knows the bomb can explode any time of the year, day or night. He is ready for it. Duck and cover. This wall was close by, so that's where he ducked and covered.
America might have created the atomic bomb, but now had to be ready for it to be used against them. America had to learn to duck and cover to protect them from their own weapon. This was their reality, and reality sucked. This was a hard time for America, a time of fear and tension that would ultimately lead it into a Cold War with the Soviet Union. Guess what, America? The war is over. After 5 long years, America was ready to return to a state of traditionalism, where the men went back to the factories and the women went back to their homes. America was ready for change.
Back to the American home, with welcome and well done everywhere. And what does he want? Most of all, he wants a job, with old skills sharpened. As he returns from the wars, he represents, once again, the best of America.
With the war gone and the post-war era starting, America was ready to take a look at the brighter side. America was ready to change, and change was coming. More and more people began to move out of the cities and right into the suburbs. Many people began to have families, and oftentimes they wanted to move to the suburbs to have more land and security. With the men gone and fighting a war, the women were left to the workforce. Women in uniform took office and clerical jobs in the armed forces in order to free men to fight. Nearly 350,000 American women served in uniform, both at home and abroad, volunteering for the newly formed Women's Army Auxiliary Corps. But at the war's end, many were forced out by men returning home and by the downturn in demand for war materials. Not only did women take charge in the workforce, but they also took charge in America's favorite pastime, baseball. With many men trading in their bats for guns, women had to step up and take charge of America's favorite pastime, baseball. In the 1940s, a league was created, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. In this league, women would play baseball, just like the men did. There were several teams, including the Racing Bells, which I gladly am portraying.
We're the members of the All-American League. We come from cities near and far. We're all for one, we're all American.
Women did not only prove to be great workers, but amazing baseball players. With 11 teams in all, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League lasted an amazing 11 years. These amazing women deserve so much credit. In a time of hardship and fear, these women were able to band together and play a quote-unquote man sport and entertain America during the times of war. A movie was made about them, A League of Their Own, and trust me, these women were truly in a league of their own. So, America, a changing nation. Changing was damn right. America changed so much in the 1950s, from everything, from fashion to food. I mean, everything was like gelatin back then. Yes, you heard me right. Jello, as in Jello, like the Jello that you eat for a snack, the Jello that is like red and orange and blue, and the Jello that looks like this, that comes in the little Jello container things. That was put in food. Like, they made Jello salads and Jello meat. It was like Jello food everywhere. Sorry about that, I just really needed to rant about Jello. Anyway, so basically a lot of things were changing in the 1950s. From good to bad to horrifying. It was a changing time. But one of my favorite things I want to talk about today is fashion. The 1950s brought up some questionable outfit choices, like the girdle, seems comfortable, and the bullet bra, seems appealing. But take what I'm wearing. It's a dress, it has patterns, it's fun, but it gives you this nice hourglass figure. This was all part of something called the New Look. So with the New Look, things had to change. As you can see by these people, they had their hourglass figure happening. Like legitimately, this dress, the New Look, was basically an hourglass. Okay, so we have head, a little bit of eyes, action, okay, good, some arms, a little, ooh, yes, some ass and legs, and boom, the New Look. Anyone can create this look. Do we see what I mean? Hourglass. Now, along with the hourglass figure, we also had some other fun accessories, including gloves, like a little headscarf that also could be worn around the neck, a little handbag, and some heels. So basically, it's all uncomfortable.
Rain, use new white rain shampoo tonight, and tomorrow your hair will be sunshine bright.
Ads, advertisements, commercials. They were everywhere in the 1950s, from billboards to radio stations, but ultimately they would end up on the brand new invention to the home, the television. With women being home, they would see these ads, and when their husbands would come home, they would go, I want one of those. Whether if it was a new type of like soda, a car. And ultimately in the 1950s, the big thing was baby food due to the baby boom, which was kind of like an explosion of birth. Babies were a big thing, mainly because men were coming home and they wanted to have families. With a lot of these commercials, they would have catchy music, because when you hear the music, you would ultimately think of that product. So that music made people buy that product. Like with the hair commercial, they would hear that song and they would instantly become attached to it because they're like, I know that, I want it because that's a good song. In the end, many products of that hair shampoo was bought because they heard the jingle and they wanted it. That's just how it worked. And that shampoo, White Rain, is actually still sold today. I've used it before. So many of the products from the 1950s still are around today. Another big change in the 1950s was the increasing population of people who were moving out of the cities to the much calmer suburbs. The suburbs, a calming area. The perfect place for families to raise their children, mainly because it was a safe, light-trafficked neighborhood. Houses were built at an extremely fast rate. They would be built at a dozen at a time. They often looked the same because repeating houses was just a fun trend in the 1950s. I mean, look. Those are the same houses. They are just built in bulks. It's like Sam's Club at houses. I mean, at least today we have at least some originality. Oh wait, never mind. Oh yeah, okay. We have not changed that. Okay, that has not changed in the 1950s. Oh my god, we just love building houses the same. Minus the repeated houses, the suburbs was ultimately a pretty great idea. As you can see by the little kids, they would grow up in a place that was safe and ultimately, be for them. Now, we'll come back to the suburbs a little later, but before that, we need to talk about something else. War. Again.